So now I want to ask Martin Geddes to, Martin, come on up here, yeah. Martin, and take off your badge on the way up here. Martin's got this great t-shirt that kind of, I'm going to use, since Lee wanted presentation materials and I didn't want to do them, I'm going to use Martin's t-shirt as my presentation materials.
Well, but use Martin as your presentation material.
Yes, indeed.
A prop for once, a prop.
Well,
so, I don't know if everyone can see this, but this is an ISO stack t-shirt. Starts off with the physical layer, the link layer, the network layer, the transport layer, session, presentation, application layer, which is where the OSI model stops, and then it has the financial layer and the political layer. And wait a minute. And the political layer has a little annotation here. You are here. And indeed, we are there. Martin, don't go away. How many ISPs do you have access to in your house? You're not living in Edinburgh anymore, right?
Yeah, in Edinburgh, Scotland. I probably have 30 to choose from.
And what's the maximum speed that you can get for, say, under 100 euros?
100 euros? You'd be mad to pay that much. So you can easily get, well, 24 megabit DSL is about 35 US dollars a month.
Okay, 24 megabit DSL.
Yeah.
And down speed?
That's down speed, yeah. And, well, if you want to go fast upstream, then there's cable modem to my house as well, and that's pretty much standard cable speed, so it's still, you know, DOCSIS 2, yeah.
Okay. All right. And here, how many people have more than 2 ISPs that they can get access to? Well, and we're all geeky, so that's about 30% of the audience. But most of us live in a duopoly world or a monopoly world, right? Thank you, Martin. And the reason for that is political. We are here, okay? We are living in a place where politics determines what our internet looks like. Now, if you doubt that, think about 2000. There must have been 200 or 300 CLECs. Remember what a CLEC was? Okay, there were hundreds of them. They were all vying for new services. They were all trying to break in and get our attention. And then there were some FCC decisions that made line sharing and unbundled network services virtually impossible to get. And between 2000 and 2002, all of the CLECs, except for AT&T and MCI and Sprint, disappeared. And then, of course, AT&T and MCI were bought by the ILECs. So we don't have those either. In other words, as a result of political decisions in Washington, D.C., the notion of competition at the physical layer disappeared. Now, the 2 or 3 or 4 companies at that physical layer are trying to move up the stack and take over the applications. We now have in this room people representing several hundred applications. If you guys care about your job, you should care about the politics in Washington, D.C., because the telephone companies will shut you down or buy you out, and you won't exist anymore, and we won't be able to do these conferences anymore. There'll be internal meetings at AT&T and Comcast and Verizon, and there's where they'll talk about, oh, how to do innovative applications.